Thank you, Devdulal. Thank you for inviting me for this talk. I seem to be the most Western person in the faculty. I'm from the west of the India. All of you guys are from east of India, so I feel like an American in the group today. Jokes apart, I would be talking about this IOFP. I'll just show four cases of difficult IOFP situation. Please stop me if I'm going for overshooting time. The first case is a young patient who had a injury in while working in stone quarry, and he had a large scleral and dimple tear. So in the first part of the surgery, we did the scleral tear repair, and we used hand over hand technique to suture the sclera. On reaching the medial rectus, we on reaching the medial rectus, we disinserted the medial rectus after tagging it, and then the posterior extent of the scleral tear was sutured before the muscle was sutured back in place. Then the paracentesis was done and the hyphema was removed. It was organized hyphema. It was a couple of days old injury. Then the vitrectomy was done through limbal incisions. And as we saw in the CT scan, there was a very large stone foreign body, which
अरे
was
वॉल
almost involving the whole of the globe. So vitrectomy was done, core vitrectomy, and the foreign body was released of all its vitreous attachments. Then the sclerotomy on the right side was enlarged, and the claw forceps was used and then the claws were protracted. The foreign body was picked up from the retinal surface, and then the limbal incision was made. It was almost 180 degrees of limbal incision before the foreign body was held by shake hand technique, and we had to use the superior rectus forceps, the largest instrument in our set, to remove this very large foreign body. Towards the as the foreign body was removed, the limbal wound was sutured, and we tried to settle the retina, but it was quite some time, and we were losing view, and PVD was not getting induced, and the patient basically was no perception of light. So surgery was the case was closed at this particular stage. So in this case, we could lift the foreign body using the claw forceps, hold it in midvitreous cavity, while other hand was used to enlarge the wound and uh, to remove the foreign body out of the hand. The second patient was again a young patient who had industrial accident while working on lathe machine, and large metal chip had entered the vitreous cavity through pars plana. It was almost like a surgical insertion. The lens was untouched. The lens was clear as we can see, and it was a very large foreign body as we saw it on the X-ray. So initially, the entry wound was sutured using 80 Vicryl, and then the three port pars plana vitrectomy was done. We can see a very large foreign body. The challenge was to get the foreign body without causing any retinal damage. So here again the vitrectomy was done to trim the foreign body from all the vitreous attachment. At this stage, we did not induce the PVD. We just removed the foreign body. The vitreous attachments were released from the foreign body. Again, the sclerotomy on the left side here I was enlarged, and then since this was a metallic foreign body, we used this intraocular magnet, which is devised by Ferenc Kuhn, using the left hand, which is not non-dominant hand for me, and then it was done so as to not to drag the foreign body across the macula. This magnet is excellent and it's very powerful. Such a large foreign body, I could railroad it out of the eye without causing any retinal damage. As you know, it was carefully removed from the vitreous cavity without touching the lens or causing any retinal damage, which was a challenge in itself. As the foreign body was removed, then the PVD was induced, vitrectomy was completed, and and then the case was closed with the possible areas of retinal break were lasered. The next case is a patient who was having trauma. He had his glass broke while driving a bike, and there was organized vitreous hemorrhage. We had done CT scan and ultrasound, but could not see any foreign body intraoperatively. or pre-operatively, I mean. Intraoperatively, after the vitreous, this was densely organized vitreous hemorrhage. So the vitrectomy was done to remove the vitreous cavity completely, remove the vitreous hemorrhage completely, and there was an incarceration site which was seen, and there was a foreign body. This was a glass foreign body. So again, I had to use the claw forceps to lift the foreign body from the retinal surface, and then it was placed on the iris before limbal incision was. So the claw was removed from the sclerotomy, and then we could, I again inserted it through the limbus and removed the foreign body from the anterior chamber. The next case is a interesting case. This was a patient who was having a very tiny foreign body. It was almost not visible. It was only the CT scan. These were the only two pictures there where the foreign body was seen on the CT scan. So this is kind of importance of CT scan. Even if you do not see the foreign body, ultrasound didn't pick it up because it was at pars plana. It was a very tiny foreign body, so couldn't be picked up by ultrasound. So intraoperatively, I first did the cataract surgery, put the lens, made sure that the foreign body was not there in the ciliary circus, and then went in with the sclerotomies and did the vitrectomy with PVD induction at this particular point of time, because I had to do base excision before I approached the foreign body, since the foreign body was in the inferonasal quadrant in the pars plana, in the inferonasal pars plana region, and I had to make sure that there were no vitreous attachments to the foreign body before I removed it. So here I induced PVD before, did base excision, and we can see the foreign body right here. This was released of all the vitreous attachments, and then it was held with the vitreous cutter. And we have to be careful that we are not hurting the pars plan, creating a break when there is none. And then the foreign body is pulled in the visual axis and is held with forceps with one hand. It was held with forceps with one hand. It was taken off from the vitrectomy cutter. Then the sclerotomy on the right hand side was enlarged, and I used microcapsulorhexis forceps to get the foreign body out of the eye. The patient had very good visual acuity since there was no retinal damage. So I think to conclude, I would like to say that we have to approach these cases with detailed preoperative examination and localize the foreign body so that you can plan your surgery. You should have a surgical plan, how you are going to, touch the foreign body, or how you are going to approach the foreign body. How are you going to grasp it from the retinal surface and bring it to the site of where you are going to take it out, either through limbus or through sclerotomy. Before you approach the foreign body, make sure that you have got watertight wound closure. Complete the vitrectomy to the extent possible and release it from all the attachments to the IOFP. Uh, we have to plan the management of cataract if there is traumatic cataract or lens. If you are going to touch, if you are going to treat it before or later, the cataract part of it. And before we close, if you have not had any retinal breaks, make sure that they are not there. You have not missed any by doing thorough peripheral retinal inspection before sclerotomy closure. Thank you for giving me opportunity.